Let's shift gears a little bit to the economy, one of my favorite topics.
Yes.
This recovery has been said to have been kinder to men than to women. Now, on the one hand, some people have called it a mancession because men were disproportionately hit in the recession, especially early on because of the construction-related jobs.
That's true.
And now it's being called a mancovery because the numbers for men have moved in a more significant way than they've moved for women, even though now we're on parity in terms of the unemployment rate between men and women is equal, and it wasn't before. So men had a bigger unemployment number than women. So when you see that, what do you think? You know, sitting from your vantage point, sitting in the White House, how do you guys think about it?
It's complicated. Well, let me put it in context first. Obviously, this was the worst economic crisis in the United States than we've had since the Great Depression.
500-year flood, we call it.
500-year flood. I mean, but just in terms of the data, 4 million jobs lost in the last 6 months of the Bush administration. Another 4 million jobs lost in the first 6 months of the Obama administration before any of his policies could take hold. We were losing 750, 80,000 jobs a month when he came into office. That is an unbelievable downward turn, not to mention the banks being on the verge of collapse, and a healthcare crisis, and an energy crisis, and a public education crisis in terms of our reputation around the world, a lot going on. So we now, as of today, have had 24 consecutive months of private sector job growth. That's a good thing. 233,000 jobs this month, private sector jobs, and we are appreciative of each and every single one of those jobs. But Melody's right, and you know, we don't actually know the answer to the question. One possible answer is that when the president came in, those of you who may remember, we passed the Recovery Act. And the Recovery Act had extended the tax credits from tax cuts from the Bush administration, but it also had provisions in there for state and local government who were also suffering under this economic crisis. And many of those public sector jobs are jobs that are traditionally held by women, so school teachers, for example. The Recovery Act was intended to only last about 24 to 36 months. Now that those monies are burning off, what we're seeing, at the same time as the private sector is growing, there are layoffs at state and local level. And so some of the challenge for women may be those school teacher jobs, which is why the president was so adamant that we should have passed the American Jobs Act last fall, because in there would have been jobs, not just for teachers, but firefighters and policemen, first responders, important jobs at the local level that are in jeopardy right now as a result of this challenge that the state and local governments are having.